Tato, welcome to the What's the Plan stand virtual field trip. Right now, you're travelling through Kaiapoi, heading out to the coast to Kairaki Beach, and we're going to talk about some natural hazards today. And being on the coast, good place to talk about tsunami. So we'll catch you soon. So here you are at Kairaki Beach, and behind us is the Waimakariri River. Next to us is Marion from Environment Canterbury. Great that you could join us today. Of course, Marion answered questions this morning on the web conference, and we're standing next to an information board that gives us places to go if there's a tsunami. Just taking a step back from that, Marion, thinking about tsunami, we know that it's a large body of water moving towards the coast. How are they actually formed?
Well, tsunamis form by something disrupting the bottom of the sea floor, and that might be an earthquake where you get one bit of the sea floor lifting up with an earthquake along a fault, or it might be a volcano, or it might be a landslide sliding off the coast, and as the sea floor lifts up, the water above it also lifts up. It leaves like a hill in the sea, and water doesn't like that very much. So then that flows out in both directions, and it can cause a tsunami on that coast over there and right the way across the other side of the ocean over there.
Now, we actually have tsunami quite a lot of the time. Some of them just are quite small ones,
Yeah.
but even the small ones can be quite dangerous. And because there's a whole lot of whitebaiters here at the moment in the river,
Yeah.
you know, that's a good point to make, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So we tend to think of tsunamis as just really, really big, devastating ones that flood the land, like the ones that we saw in Japan. And actually, tsunamis do happen all the time, but some are only this big, and some are this big, and some are meters high. The trouble is, even if they don't flood the land, they can really disrupt the currents, not only in the sea, but also up the rivers. So people who are down on the coast in the water or on boats or along the edge like these whitebaiters and fishermen are, they need to be really careful. So sometimes we get what we call a marine warning, and it's also really important to take notice of those and move away from the water. You don't need to evacuate for those ones because the land's not going to get flooded, but the water can. So they're worth knowing about too.
So I guess, you know, when you're coming down to the coast, it's really important to read these information panels because, you know, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature and don't know when these things are going to happen. What's the general advice in terms of being prepared for and getting through in a tsunami event?
Well, the first thing is to know whether you will need to evacuate in a tsunami. And that's what these boards are for. They show a map of where we think the tsunami water might affect. And these are the people who live in this area, or if you're in this area when the tsunami warning comes, that you'll need to get out. You only need to get out of that area. You don't need to go a very long way. You only need to get out of the evacuation area. The warning for that can come in a couple of ways. You can either get an official warning, which you might hear on the radio or through social media, through Facebook, those sorts of things. And with those ones, you'll tend to have a bit longer. These are the ones that start off on the other side of the sea. And it takes several hours, maybe even 12 or 14 hours to get across the sea. And then there are the other ones which happen closer to the shore. So that's when the earthquake is just out here somewhere. And you'll feel that earthquake. You'll feel the earthquake, and if you're by the sea, and if you're in one of these evacuation areas, then immediately, as soon as the shaking stops, you need to get out of that area. That's the long or strong get gone.
Yeah.
If the earthquake's so strong that you can't stand up, or it lasts for more than a minute, then you need to move out of the evacuation area very quickly, because they can just arrive within minutes.
Yeah. Thanks, Marion. So look, hey, beautiful day, like I say, to be at the beach doing a spot of whitebaiting, but know what to do, read the signs, and especially for your area, know where those evacuation zones are and that sort of thing, so that you can be safe and prepared.
Mm-hmm.